I can't. What's up? I can't.
Are we live?
We're
Oh,
live. What's up,
hi
profitable
guys.
stylist? I can't. We were goofing off a little bit before we went live. We're having fun. Quick announcement that we have to make. Misha S, congratulations. You are the winner for the consulting session with Shayna. So awesome. Thank
Uh,
you so much. She's going to be reaching out
Animal.
to you, so look out for her call.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Shanna Mall with Studio U. Remember we had her on a few weeks ago? I know you were calling her Shayna, but Shanna Mall with Studio U a few weeks
Can't
ago. That's
pronounce
what
it.
we're just laughing about is that how people pronounce words differently. And Eddie was asking how to spell winner.
No,
I'm
not
not how to spell winner.
how
It's two
to
N's. Two
pronounce.
N's, Eddie. So listen, today's topic subject. It seems so stupid and simple, but it's probably the most powerful thing. And I would have to say the thing that contributes the most to my success. That it really is. It's the stupid little things because you take the emotions out of it. Now, when I'm talking, I'm hearing an echo coming back through something on your end where I
I'll
hear me
correct it.
again.
Hold on.
It's I don't know what that's about,
There you go.
but such a simple little thing, and it's just called showing up on time and leaving at the right time. Like right now, for me, some weeks with Eddie on a Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Time, I don't want to be here. Sometimes I just don't feel like doing it, you know?
Hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I don't really like that topic. I think I'm just going to call in sick, or maybe Eddie could just say I'm teaching out of town somewhere, which has not happened. I've actually been teaching out of town. But unless I've actually been out of town, I've been to every single one of these, and a couple of times I was kind of sick. But I don't love every single topic the same. I don't want to leave home sometimes on a Thursday. I don't have anything else scheduled here at the salon. And all I have to do is drive 30 minutes to work to spend an hour on this. And I think maybe I could just do it with my phone's YouTube, Discord situation. Oh, but the lighting's not right. The right thing to do is sit in this studio for consistency. It's the job I chose to help stylists succeed. And so I show up. And so what I did was so many months ago is I decided I'll show up at 10 a.m. on Thursday, no matter what, however good or bad it goes, however good or bad I feel, and I'll just do it. And from that has come a certain amount of YouTube success. It's been fun helping stylists. And when I'm at events, sometimes people say, "You're that guy," and it's kind of fun. Or they schedule a call with me through an education they took. At the end of the education, it says schedule a 15-minute call, marketing call, or planning your business call with Bernard. And then when they call or I call, they're like, "It's the same voice that's on
It's
YouTube.
the
I can't
same
believe
voice, right? Right.
I can't believe I'm talking to the guy." And I'm like, "I'm not famous, girl or guy." But I guess at some level, I'm a little more famous than somebody, so they appreciate it. I've done something for them in their life. I'm writing for the American Hair Loss Journal right now, and I said one of the things I liked the most about going there is I felt like I was in the middle somewhere. I was able to help some stylists that were asking me like, "How did you get where you are? How did you do this? How did you do that?" But at the same time, there were some people that had these hair replacement studios that were like mega successful, way more than me. And I got to talk to them on a personal level. How did you get there? How do you do so many? How do you market? And so it was really kind of neat learning from the ones that are a little further down the road than I am, but teaching the ones who are just getting on the road or been on a little shorter than I have. So, same thing here. I mean, we're talking about showing up for work. It seems like just a stupid thing, right? Show up. That is probably the biggest secret to success is showing up.
I never. It was. I don't know. In my upbringing, I was always raised a little bit differently. If you were not fit to work, if you were not 15 to 30 minutes early before your shift started, and it didn't matter if you got paid hourly, commission, it didn't matter what it was. But if you were if the time is 10 o'clock. You better be there at 9:30. Otherwise, you're already late. That was already burned into my mind. Now, if you're going to a party, never show up on time. You show up 30 minutes after the party started, you know? But for work, yeah, no. It's always show up early. And then I remember leaving early one day. It was kind of slow. I come home. My grandma's just looking at me going, "You got fired." I'm like, "No, it was a little bit slow today. I'm just, we left early. Like we all left early." She goes, "But the store is still open." I'm like, "No, we closed the shop." She goes, "But the people don't know the shop is closed. Like if they look and say the hours until, whatever it was,
Right.
what if somebody tries to come?" I'm like, "That's not my problem." She goes, "That is your problem. You.
Yes. Go, Grandma. That is your problem.
That is my problem.
That comes with maturity and experience.
Well, that was the thing. And then she's like, you left early. That means what? You didn't close. You didn't clean up. You didn't do the paperwork. You didn't prepare for the next day. I'm like, oh my freaking God. Who's in charge of the place here, man? But no, she was right.
She was right. And I mean, it's obviously we're not all perfect. You did that. I'm sure you'll do it again. You just feel like
No, never
sometimes,
again.
sometimes you count the cost and you make a bad decision like that. And you're like, you know what? I just need the rest. But today's generation, or just today in today's time, every generation, we all feel like we owe it to ourselves a little too often. Like, oh, you deserve that day off every single week. You deserve to go home early every single day. So, there needs to be, I'm just trying to encourage everybody to step it up a level. It's what I attribute to my success. It takes the emotions out of the game. If I was going to work, you don't have to say forever, but make small commitments like, hey, I'm trying to build a clientele. I'm a brand new hairdresser. I'm going to work 9 to 5, 9 to 3, 10 to 2. Pick the time. And then post it somewhere on your social media sites or whatever, because that is your front door now. The front door of your social media site, that's the front door of your business where it says your days and hours and your phone number. No, you're not going to be out shopping and take a call and then go in if it's needed, because if you post those days and hours, you need to be there, because we still have enough people that walk in for a haircut, walk in or call in, "Can I come in right now?" Yeah, if you're going right next door to have coffee or a drink or a snack or lunch, that's different. But if you're going to take 10 or 15 minutes to get back to your place, and some of you guys live in big cities, and 10 minutes is nowhere. Everything's 20 or 30 minutes to drive around. You just do it for a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever short-term commitment you're comfortable with, and just be there. And while you're there, this is the thing. You don't have to sit there and be bored. You don't have to sit there and just wait for it. I mean, there are things you can do. So for me, what the commitment was, I was going to work 9 to 5 at work, whatever. If a customer didn't show, canceled, whatever, didn't have customers, I was spending 9 to 5 working on my business. There was some times in the very beginning when I didn't get it, and I just made the commitment because that's how I was raised, because my dad would be like, you got to get to work. And so he's like, you go and it'll happen. And I'm like, I had that belief. I guess it'll just happen. It didn't happen as fast as I help people make it happen these days. I can make it happen quicker now with a lot of experience. But the very first bottom line thing I had to do was go to work 9 to 5. So yeah, they didn't have social media when I started. So I would be reading a book in between, But after I started learning that, you know what? From 9 to 5 is the business hours. Let's work. Now, a lot of those books were self-help books, so they did help. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to be there 9 to 5, let's do something to grow the business from 9 to 5. So back then, I would make a list, call my mom, hey, who all was on so-and-so's wedding list? Make all these lists and then start writing letters or postcards and filling out addresses and dropping it in the mail, because that was social media back then, snail mail, and sending postcards. Hey, I am a stylist now. I'd love to do your hair. And then asking the owner of the salon, do you have any old books? Because the salon I worked in had these binders. They were little binders. They were bigger than index cards, but they were like color formulas and all these different stats that would keep on customers. And hairdressers would get fired or leave, and they'd have these books that have been there for years that belonged to nobody anymore. I go through the old books, which should be on the computer, and or old databases, and I'd go and you can go through the old emails now and email people. That's a lot freer than the postage I would pay in the past. I would pay the little bit of money I was making to put stamps on these postcards or envelopes and mail out and get one out of every 100. Was doing this, but I would get that highlighter color. So I started to decide, hey, I'm going to do a couple things. After I got rolling a little, if I have an hour off, I might eat. That'd be a good thing to start with. But then I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to think like I'm right here. I'm going to focus on the past and the future. If I did a customer yesterday or last week, I'm going to call them, text them, send them a postcard, send them a thank you, try to get them back on the appointment book for the future. And I'm going to also look to the future. How am I going to market to get more customers in the future? So those were the two areas I focused on. Obviously, if I'm doing a client, do the best I can do everything I can do to try to get them back. But then after they leave, now I'm sitting for an hour, work on the past and work on the future. That's what I would do from 9 to 5.
My outlook on this is our industry is very different. You know, every coach that's out there, every marketing company that's out there, every business model that exists is for companies and corporations that produce products. In our industry, we are producing people. We're not producing products, physical, tangible products, right? So
yeah.
I look at our industry a little bit differently. Yeah, we are producing, right, somebody's look, but we're producing physical beauty, emotional health. It's an investment. I look at it, I've always looked at it as it's an investment in a person. And then that relationship, it's like investing in a bank or investing in a stock or investing in something. And that money eventually will come back, or that whatever, not just income.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So you got to be there to cultivate that. I remember I was cleaning up one time. The shop was closed. Everybody had gone home for the night. I was cleaning up and somebody's banging on the window. And I'm thinking, oh, come on, man. You know, it was like a 12, 14-hour day, whatever it was, right? And
right.
It was a guy.
Somebody else wants to give me their money. So
well, that's not the way I was thinking about it.
No, I know.
And it was like, hey, dude, I need a haircut. Every barber that I've been going to, everybody's gone for the night. I got this party. I'm running late. I really need to get lined up. Can you line me up? I'm like, yeah, sure. What's that?
I'll charge you double.
Oh, I'll charge you double. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, sure. Come on in. Just stand here for a second. I'm going to go turn the lights on. So I go turn on the lights and I start unpacking my station again. And he goes, are you guys closed?
The lights are off, guy.
Yeah, doors locked, lights are closed, you're banging on the window. Yeah, no, not anymore. We're open now. Come on in, sit down, let me take a look at you, let me see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I start doing the consultation with him, figure out what he wants. I take him back, I start washing his hair, and he literally says like this to me, but now he goes, yo, this ain't a barber shop. Is this a girl salon?
Oh my God.
I'm like, yes, this
Those
is.
Girls. Yeah.
Well, again, back then. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
And it's a typical guy, And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm sitting there and washing his hair and everything. He's like, damn, I never got my hair washed before. Sit him down, do the whole service, run through the whole thing, line him up real good, do what he asked for. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He goes, this is the longest haircut I've ever had.
He's like,
Right. I'm like, yeah, I don't do 5-minute fades. I spend a little extra time doing my fades, but it is what it is. There you go, buddy. You need anything else? You good? Oh man, thank you so much. He goes like this. I know this is a girl's shop, but you're pretty badass at cutting guys. Do you mind if I come back? I'm like, okay. This isn't just a girl shop. Like, we do everything. And
I'm not a girl.
And I'm not a girl. No, barber shop equals dudes.
To some
not a
people, right?
barbershop equals girls.
Girls. Right, right. Yeah. So did you keep that client for a while?
Not only did I keep that client, turned out to be he's some investor guy. Like he worked in some kind of financial something or other. And his entire office came in, which then all
Oh,
of his girlfriends, or their girlfriends and wives came
yep.
in. And then their whatever yacht club, boat club, whatever club they were part of, all of those people started coming in. And then their family, like from that one guy after hours in a girl salon,
Yeah, right.
not a
You
barber
made them feel
shop.
comfortable.
I
Yep.
made, God, I don't even know, like 20, 30 grand off of like within the first 6 months, I made 20 or 30 grand just off of all the people coming in, all from,
That's nice.
from the insane amount of referrals because he loved his haircut that much.
So that reminds me of something that I didn't get to say. I went to this. I did this little hair show in. It's not too little. It was a few hundred stylists from around Nebraska. It's a small vendor beauty supply. I don't know what to call them. They do supplies, but they also do education. It's called Ignite the Industry. So I did a little small thing there, and somebody else got the question, and I didn't get it, so I didn't get to answer it. But this is what I wanted to say. Like they were talking about building a clientele for new hairdressers because we had a lot of new hairdressers. I was part of a round table where the audience was asking questions and we would answer. And one of the things I wanted to say that has been super powerful. Wow, can't say that word. One of the things that has been very super powerful for me through time, I kind of stumbled upon it one time, was I would do a deep dive, kind of like what happened with you with that guy, but I would do it on purpose. I would do a deep dive into one person's life. If I decided I needed more clients, I know you know that I'm a proponent of free or full price. I don't care what happens, they'll pay later. I just need to do hair and they'll start paying at some point. I'm only going to do them free once. And so I would get to the point where I was like, wow, I don't have much going on next week or this week. So when I'm doing this one client, I would just decide I like what I'm doing to this client. It's a very profitable, fun, easygoing client, like the service. So I would say, hey, Ori, I've got a lot of extra time this week. You like what I do, right? Yes, I want to do more of it. You want to give some gifts away? What do you mean? I said, I'm going to allow you to give all your girlfriends half price, free services, whatever I was in the mood for, to come to me if they'll come before the end of the week. I want to fill up all my time with some new customers, and I can't stand just sitting around. So who can we start calling right now while I'm doing your hair? Who can we start texting? Let's fill up the rest of my week. And you can tell your friend, listen, you're going to be like my play this game with them. You're going to be my marketing girl here for the next hour or two while I'm doing your hair. Okay. So can you help me? I'd love to at least make some money. So who do you think will come in and pay? But if they won't, I'm willing to maybe do it half price to get them in, show them how good I am, show them why you like me so much. But if they won't come in for half price, then we give free. So let's start with full price, half price, free. Okay. So let's see how much it is. And they're like, oh, and they're like, yeah, I want to help you. I love you. That can be my tip today. You don't have to do any other tipping. If you can just get some clients on the book, let's deep dive. You have any sisters? You have a mom? You have a husband, a boyfriend? You have how many friends? Are you in school? What about your work? And we just start calling all of these people, offering them services and trying to get them all in. And then whatever you don't fill up with that client, start with the next client and do another deep dive. Dive through. It's like gold mining to me. You mine through that one client and just go, where I got the idea was, hey, I did Amway. I was in network marketing. I tried to sell the diet stuff through the diet network marketing businesses. I've sold the long distance calling in the early days. I sold the patches that make you healthier by putting stuff in your body that's supposed to be better for you. The weight loss wraps. And all of those are about networking through people. It's the same thing in your own business. Network through the people. Tell them what you want. I need to build my business. I need more clients. Do you want to help me? Who do we call? How do we do this? Let's start making some calls. All of your customers are in their phone. They're not your customers yet.
I have a comment question for you.
What you got?
Refined Hair Studio.
Yep.
Okay. Do you understand what she's asking? We need to
That's
tell
Shanna.
everybody what I'm doing. We need to tell everybody what I'm doing and how we're gonna show them how to make the kind of money so they can be on the road and working. Inherit replacement, you actually are selling a product and an ongoing.
So I love that you. So I know Shanna well. She's the one we interviewed recently.
No,
But I want
I
to show
know, but I don't understand.
you this hairstyle
Hey,
that I just did recently. He heard you. So this is Casper, and my wife said, "Do you think that Casper is ready for a career day, work day? Casper might want to go to work with you
yeah,
today."
he's trying to tell you good morning.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a pretty good dog. Here, lay down back here and just wait. We're not going outside just yet. He saw me kind of scoot back on my chair and he jumped up like, "We going? Are we going, Dad?" So anyway, Casper, come here. Come here. So lay down and just wait. So anyway, yeah, I know what Shanna's saying and I know how she said it. Let me tell you how she did it. She pressed that little record button on her phone. Lay down, boy. Lay down. She pressed that record button on her phone and she started talking, and not all of the words were translated correctly.
Oh, is it autocorrect? Is it one of those autocorrect fails?
Well, it's voice to text, and so it misses some of the words, it puts some wrong words. But yeah, I know what she's generally trying to say, and she's a girl that we interviewed. We did a little a two guys and a girl chat behind the white table. She was here filming her long hair bonding class, and I guess she's watching from home right now, and she's just dying to get on screen with us. If we could just press a button and add her, it would be so easy, like we can do on Facebook. But she's just basically saying that it's like our whole mission. It's being profitable stylists, teaching stylists how to do more and do better. She's saying that she loves being on the road. So get good at what you're doing and get to the point where you're teaching other stylists how to do something. Of course, she thinks that you all should be teaching the same thing she teaches, but maybe your passion's different, Maybe your passion's different. But if you're just showing up for work and you're doing the thing, that's how we both got to where we are now. We showed up for work. We just kept doing the same, what might seem mundane at first, and then we got really good at something. You got really good at color, and I got really good at extensions, and a few other little sidelines. But I would guess that'd be our number one thing in our life. And then you added on extensions, and it has added a lot of good extra money. I did a lot of highlights, but I can't say I ever really understood color formulation well. I just covered some grays, put in some highlights, lightened and darkened some hair a little, but that was about the limit of my color knowledge. I built the business, helped other hairdressers learn how to do hair replacement and hair extensions. So each of you guys out there are going to find that you like something more than the rest. At first, take a bunch of classes, learn a bunch of stuff, and then stop taking too many classes, because you can become a little overwhelmed with learning too many things, and then you'll get to the point where you can't be really good at the few things that you need to focus on. So start to figure out at some point, when you've learned enough about this industry that you can kind of figure out where to focus, and then as you're showing up, do more deep dives on that education also in the area that you are already kind of good at or like or passionate about. And when you get really, really good at it, then you can move into what Shanna's talking about and start to educate others on it. And that's kind of the working retirement that we can look forward to. Like what we're doing right now. When you're just standing behind that chair all day, every day, your back's going to start hurting. You need to do things like save some money or have some kind of future. And one of those futures can be to start to pivot from doing to teaching. And so you can start to educate people. And we both kind of did that. We started to work less days a week and teach more days a week. Mm-hmm. So it started to put it feels good to pass that knowledge on, but you do also get paid for it. So it's still a job and an income, but it also is good for our bodies because we're doing less work physically behind the chair. So I don't know. That's my little take on that. If you read it and get something else out of it, then go for it.
So now I have a couple of questions for you. When I had my shop, I used to have my stylists come in an hour to an hour and a half before their shift started, so they could blow dry themselves or blow dry each other's hair and do their makeup at their stations.
Interesting.
And the reason why I used to do that was while they were there getting ready, it gave me an opportunity to have morning meetings with them, because trying to get the group together all the time was really challenging, especially with how busy the salon was getting, right? So getting them to come in made sure that they actually showed up. They had no excuse. All you have to do was take a shower, put some clothes on, and show up. And everything's at the salon. We will do everything. You didn't even have to wash your own hair. We would wash it for you.
Wow.
Just physically show up was the hardest thing. Back then, I don't know about nowadays, but back then we would literally be drinking all night. And some of the girls would just roll in from breakfast they never went home. They were in the same clothes from yesterday, and it was bad. And we were smoking back then, so everybody smelled like a cigarette. It was just really rough. So trying to do your 9 o'clock appointment or 8:30, 9 o'clock appointment, and you smell like alcohol and cigarette. It's not the greatest feeling, let alone the greatest arousal thing. So we used to get them to come in early, and then I'd be able to have a one-on-one with them. We'd be able to clean them up and sober them up, get some coffee in them and stuff like that. And then they would be ready for when their shift started.
Or a salon.
What's that?
Are we talking about rehab or salon? I'm just kidding. Hey, I had the same thing. I had hairdressers that would party all night and show up. Some of them cleaner than others, and their makeup was already done, and they looked spectacular because they were partying all night. And they were good to go for a few hours in the morning because they were still partying hard. But they did their best hair early in the morning, and then they started to fade because they were up for too many hours. I think that's just a sign of young, immature, and you're not gonna change that. Some people are just gonna go through that, and some are gonna do it better than others. Sure, if they can learn that they fall flat on their face and they fail and they should probably sleep the night before. The trouble is hairdressers work on Saturdays, and Friday is a common night to go out for people. So the young hairdressers are gonna do that. Just something we have to deal with, and hopefully we can manage through it and maybe have them come in a little later. I don't know. But I think that's a great idea, having people come in early. The only thing that we do close to that is, I think if you have any experience in this industry, you have to, or you should, give it back somehow at some point. And so the way I do it is Tuesday mornings is our first day of the week. I come in, if I'm not traveling, and I mean, a couple of weekends in a row, I was out of town or teaching at a school. But for the most part, every Tuesday, 9 a.m., we open at 10. So from 9 to 10, I teach our stylists. And I've gone over some really basic things. How to cut one length hair, one length. You would think that would be easy, but I was surprised at how many people don't get what head tilting does, how sitting crooked it's not this anymore. It might be this or it might be that. So how to sit straight where the head should be, how the cape should be on, maybe standing or sitting, no crossed legs, arms or body parts, or one shoulder higher than the other. And then the angle of the scissors. I mean, because it's so low, some people are tilting so their scissors will be on an angle where it's cutting it undercut, or they're tilting their scissors where it's graduating, even if everything else is okay. So some stylists are blown away by, wow, just all these body positions and having the scissors as if they were parallel laying on the floor, pick them straight up, and that's the angle they should be cutting so that it is actually straight. And just because the head's tilt down is going to give it a little bit of kick under. And I mean, they're blown away and love it. And then we blow dry and style. And then we might do a long layered and then a layered and then a bob on a mannequin. We'll pick one mannequin. They put their name on it. And every Tuesday from 9 to 10, we slowly go through a bunch of different cuts and blow dry styles. And then we might even go into some color and highlight techniques, some real basic stuff. And it helps us all get on the same page, and it's me giving back. But then the other thing that we do once a week is on Wednesday morning before work, we do a 30-minute meeting, and we go over our goals. And this is the goals we use. We take a hairdresser's last 3 months gross for the whole month, 3 months in a row, add it all together, divide by 3 to get an average, and then add 10%. And we say, that's your goal for this month. So this month's goal is always 10% more than the last 3 months average. And so every week when we meet, we're like, where are you in the month? If it's week 2 of the month, you should be about halfway through your goal. If it's week 1, it should be a quarter of the way. If it's week 3, you should be 3/4 of the way into your goal. Where are you? Are you a little behind? You're a little ahead? Are you doing okay? What's wrong? What happened? And it gives us a weekly snapshot of them getting to kind of do a little self-reflecting. Am I moving forward in my career? And so everybody seems to move forward because they're all hearing each other's goals. And if one is not, they feel a little left behind. They feel a little like a loser, and they don't want to feel that. So they either quit, which is fine with me also, or they decide to get on board and move forward, or if they just decide to be lazy, sit around, do nothing, and stay, the other hairdressers will run them off at some point.
Yeah, right. No, that's a good that really is a healthy environment.
Yeah.
Because then everybody is motivated, or you're not. The environment for the salon is not for everybody, just like the environment of the studio space is not for everybody. That actually brings me to another question, because I have a couple of them. So here's my next one. Nowadays, in the world of studio, how is it, and this happens in salon too, you have a 5:30 appointment and the stylist shows up at 5:30, but the client's been sitting there since 5:15, 5:20. Like you showing up at the same time your client's appointment time is.
I'm missing the question.
So like, how do you feel? Like, what is your opinion on showing up right on time or even late, even though your client came early or right on time? Like you're not there before your client is there.
For the first client of the day, or just all day long?
At any point in the day, doesn't even matter.
Oh. I think it's a tough question because every salon's different. So many salons these days don't have front desk, salon coordinators. I'm a big believer in that's a level of professionalism that I'd like to be able to provide. So we do. And so it's a little different in our salon. We have a salon coordinator that greets each customer as they walk in. So it doesn't matter if they're early, on time, late, didn't show. She's handling all those situations by calling the ones that don't show or late and seeing like, hey, what happened? Where are you? Or you just run a few minutes late? Lucky for you, your hairdresser is also, so it's okay, come in. Or, so sorry, we can't take you late because it'll mess her up for the rest of the day. Let's reschedule. So she's handling that kind of stuff. So a lot of times the hairdresser, like a doctor in our salon, is not seeing their customer right on time because the salon coordinator is covering some other stuff like, is this your first time here? It is. Oh, great. Let's fill out this form right here. It's going to kind of give us an idea of where you're at, where you've been, what you're looking for. I need to put a little bit of stuff in the computer to keep track of you. So if you write it down, I'll get it spelled right. And so will be with you in just a couple of minutes. It gives the hairdresser a chance to run in the back, maybe grab a snack, go to the bathroom, wash their hands, smoke their thing, whatever they're smoking, whatever, that little electronic thing, hopefully, because it doesn't stink is what I prefer. But whatever, that to each their own. So they go get their personal stuff done. They come back up, and they might be 5 or 10 minutes late. I'm fine with that as long as the client was greeted when they came in. But in so many salons, you are the greeting. I think you can make some eye contact. Somebody walks in. I think it's important that you say hi when they walk in, whether they're 20 or 30 minutes early, right on time. Greet them, and then tell them the future. How can I know the future? You got a good idea of what the future is going to look like because you're running early or late or on time. So don't wait. If they come in 20 minutes early, don't just say, well, you know what, their appointment is at 5:30 and they're here at 5:10. Don't just wait till 5:30 to say, oh, I just wanted to let you know I'm running about 10 minutes late. Are you kidding me? It's a Starbucks, I mean, when they walk in, most of your customers don't mind you talking to that client at the same time. You're like, hey, how are you doing? You do know you're really early, right? I know. Because I am not running on time today. I'm running about 10 or 15 minutes late, just letting you know in case you got some calls to make, email, want to run and get coffee or snack or whatever. Communication. That's all I ask for. Communication.
And that's what's the biggest thing. So yeah, it's as a studio renter, this is one of the biggest things that I run into with stylists and the clients as well. The stylist is like rushing to get there, and they're focused on everything else that's going on except for the client or They're not in work mode. I call it work mode, right? You're running behind whatever it is. One of the things that I'll do, because I'm coming in from the distributorship and I'm trying to get to the salon, and particularly on Thursdays, a couple of times it happened, my Thursday 5:30 appointment, the same client, look at the coincidence. The same client, a couple of times it happened where I had to close the office. I had to cover and close the office. By the time I got done, by the time I got to the salon, I got right on time. I showed up just when the client was showing up, or the client was sitting there before I got there. So now what I do is, if I know that I'm going to be late, I'll call ahead and say, I'm making a Dunkin' Donut run. Who wants coffee? And everybody will get excited and be like, oh yeah, get me a nice caramel macchiato, whatever thing.
I'd be running even later.
Right. But
with gifts.
I tell the client, I say, hey, ask the client, what would the client also like, since I'm making a coffee run over here?
Right.
And the client will usually say like, no, thank you. But once in a while, they'll be like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's so awesome. It diffuses.
Can I do a disclaimer real quick? Because I learned something about you Northerners. I was in New York at a meeting one time, and they picked us up from the airport, and whoever picked the owner of the company, it was actually Mr. Ron at the time. He says, do you need anything on the way to the office? Because they just picked us up from the airport. And I said, boy, I would really like if we could stop at Starbucks. And he goes, oh, don't worry. There's a Dunkin' Donuts right next door. And so I'm thinking, I don't want a donut. What is he talking about? But I have learned, and I just want to talk to my fellow Starbucks friends out there in the world that don't really get Dunkin' Donuts. There are a bunch of Northerners who think that Dunkin' Donuts is the same as Starbucks. I don't know what it is about coffee in this country, but and that's why they make those little pods for those little Keurigs. I get it, because people love their Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but it is just not the same. And so when he said,
it's better, it's not the same. It's way better. That's right, sucker.
Dunkin' Donuts right next to the office. That was my first experience with like, did he misunderstand me? I said coffee. I said Starbucks, which is, I thought was synonymous with latte, macchiato, grande, venti. I mean, what is the small? I already lost my Starbucks language because I always just, tall. I just always get a tall or a grande. And so it's not the same, Eddie.
Look,
Dunkin' Donuts.
I don't even drink coffee, so I don't care. The reason why I prefer Dunkin' Donuts is because they have apple fritter. Starbucks does not.
Yeah. I get it.
So when I get to go to make a coffee run for a drink that I don't even drink, at least I get a cookie afterwards, or I get a snack out of it,
Yeah, and so I like what you're saying. I like where you went with that, because in today's times, the things that are different is this freaking cell phone. I mean, there was a time when you couldn't let people know so easily when you were driving. There was no phone in the car, so you had to be early. And that's where a lot of the rules that us older people put on some of you young guys, and you're like, you're so old. Those are old-fashioned. We don't need to show up on time. We can communicate. I get it. I know. I do try to change with the time some also. And so if you're running late, you're right. You can do a quick text. You can do a call from the phone and but still, it's communication that is so key.
It's
communicate. Maybe your front desk person can communicate with your client for you. Maybe you have to do it yourself. But my wife says that the best time to call her is text.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Call her.
Yeah, I had to register that for a sec. Like, what did you just say?
I know. When she says it, people go, what? Yeah.
All right.
Don't call me.
Here's my next thing then. At the end of your day, when you're done, how important is it to close down your station before you leave?
Pretty important. Yeah, I think so. I mean, because you never know what's going to happen the next day, right? So that was always a habit I got into too. No matter how much I liked it or didn't like it, sweep, wipe the chair down, put everything up, don't have a mess on top. Don't say, oh, I'm going to come in early and do it, because then you're going to forget, or somebody else is going to come in and do a client next to your station and look at the mess you left. And I just hate it. I don't know. I think it's part of professionalism to clean up, not only at the end of the day, at the end of every client, neaten up that station, because every client to me deserves to see a nice, neat, clean, whatever environment you have right around you. Even if it's that last client comes in, he works outside. He's got dirt on his shoes. He comes in and he drops a bunch of dirt around your station along with the hair you just cut. I don't even like cutting 3 people in a row and just having hair pile up on the floor. Mm-hmm. Sweep between every single one. And I know it seems silly and small, but each client, now I haven't always done it. And so this is why I can say I know they care, because I've had the customers complain. They come and they look at the chair and they're like, they'll say, I'm not sitting on somebody else's hair. And then I feel stupid. I'm the embarrassed one. And they're like, I'm not sitting on somebody else's hair. Are you going to clean that up? They got somebody else's hair on that station. And I said, well, right. You're not station. Why does that bother you? I'm thinking that. I don't say it. But they don't want to step on the hair. I've slipped on the hair before, so I'm like, I should sweep it up anyway. But when you really think about it, each deserves. I mean, I know sometimes it makes it look like, hey, look, I'm busy. I got a lot going on. I'm cutting a lot of hair. You're lucky to have me as your hairdresser. Come join my mess, and I'm going to make you look great too. I know that environment works for a lot of people, and it's okay for those people that can make that work. But I think that's probably one of the anomalies. It's one of the. I don't think it should be the standard. Most of us need to be presentable, dress nice, and clean up before and after every single client. At the end of the day, especially, because you're going to go home, you're going to forget you didn't clean up, and then you're going to agree through social media or a cell phone call or somebody books online to come a little earlier than you thought you needed to be there, and you're going to show up for that first client and be like, I didn't clean up. Now you're making them wait so you can clean up, or you just don't and look stupid. So, of course, it's your decision. That's my opinion.
The thing that taught me that lesson, I was with my wife. We went out to eat. It was a hole-in-the-wall joint. It wasn't like a fancy restaurant. It was just a neighborhood hole-in-the-wall joint that we like to go to, mom and pop shop. Right. They must have been busy. They didn't get around to wiping down tables yet. And the booth had a couple of leftover fries on it, and there was like a couple of water still on there.
Did they taste good?
The water was great. I don't know about the fries. She beat me to the fries, right? No.
Yeah.
Carmelina was kind of looking at the booth like that looks sketchy. And I'm like, it's fine. Sit down, And she's like, So we sat down. The owner comes over and she sees the table's messed up. She goes, oh my God, guys, get up for a second. Let me wipe this down. I can't believe I'm so, she was very apologetic, right? She was embarrassed.
Right.
She was embarrassed at the state of affairs of her own business, right? Well, I am just hungry. Yeah, right. I don't care. But I'm like, I just want to order. Carmelina's like, nah, let the girl clean up. And I'm, so some clients are going to care, some are not. Now I'm sitting there thinking,
right.
How is a client going to feel at the salon, right? So now here's a couple of questions. Okay, so here's to round this off for me anyways. You're probably done too after this.
I'm so done.
Right?
Time's up.
Quick habits that were told to me recently. 5 quick things that you can do to start building the habit to be on time. I don't know, man. It's like one of those Cosmo things like do these tricks and you'll be better in bed things. I don't know.
I think I'd rather do those.
All right. Let us know what those are, people, and we'll review them next week, I guess. Choose the clothes that you're going to wear and have them like prepare at night the clothes you're going to wear in the morning.
Okay. That would help.
That would help? Okay.
Yep.
Make your bed in the morning after you roll out of it before you leave.
Never making my bed ever in my life. Such a waste of time. I know some people think that you should make your bed. It sets the tone for the day. I know. I get all the theories. That's the one where I'm the anomaly. Never making my bed ever in my life. It does get My wife does it. Get up earlier than you need to be up. That's what I say. I
So
say,
okay, so that's my next one. Set one alarm and no snooze.
ooh, or just one snooze.
Or nope, you got
That's my
one chance to wake
that's
up.
my rule. That's my rule. One snooze.
One
It's
snooze.
my
Okay.
rule. Yeah, I'll hit the snooze, but no second time. Hit snooze once, and if I hadn't gotten up before the first snooze, on the first snooze, I personally sit up. I don't have to get out the bed, but God, I mean, I got to change the blood flow to my head. Sit up and just sit there as long as it takes to wake up. That's the rest of the snoozing. If it goes off again, I'm like, whoops, I didn't mean to hit snooze, turn it off. I just sit up. And my rule is don't lay back down because that's when I may not get back up.
There, you may not get back up, right?
Stay sitting up, and that's going to wake me up, whatever. So it's like alarm, snooze, sit up.
See,
Sit
I
up.
have this weird case of insomnia, and so I'm such a nervous
You
wreck.
have no problem.
What's that?
You have no problem getting
I,
up. You're
I
already
actually
up.
wake up and stare at the alarm and make sure it goes off. And then when the alarm goes off, I'm like, oh, come on. Then I get all upset. Oh, come on, man. It's time to wake up.
How many is that? Did we just do 2 or 3?
Three. That's three. So
Thank God.
setting your clothes, like choosing the clothes you're going to wear the night before
That was
saves
one.
you time in the morning. That's one. And I do that too. I learned that from my wife. Making the bed. I do make the bed.
Oh, yeah, make the bed.
Yeah, that was 2.
And
Make the bed.
then
The
the
alarm
alarm.
is 3. Okay.
What-
Number 4 is choosing what shoes or boots. Like actually having your jacket, umbrella, scarf, shoes, all of the stuff that you're going to wear before you walk out the door.
Isn't that part of the clothes? Okay, that's 4.
I don't know, man. I don't make these things up. And then
What's
number
5?
5 is turning on the car like a minute or 2 before you actually leave.
Why?
To have the car running, waiting, ready to go, instead of you sitting in there. And then, because the point was, when you get in your car and you turn it on, do you take off, or do you choose your radio station? Do you adjust your seat and your mirror? Do you position your, like if you took a bottle with you, do you put it in the cup holder? Like just because you turned on your car doesn't mean you left. You waste anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes putzing around before you actually put the car in gear and take off.
I think it's more important to show up to work early, like earlier than what is scheduled, earlier than 15 to 30 minutes earlier, so that you don't look like you're frantic and in a rush when you get there.
Yeah, just to be calm.
Yeah, just to be calm, to show that you can kind of get your bearings. You can make relationships with the other people that are there early also. Say hi. You can deal with challenges. You can get your coffee. Maybe you get your client a coffee or a juice or water. I think it's just a more comfortable environment if you get there early, you get prepared, you look at your day, and you can plan things. You can see where you have holes in your schedule and plan, are you going to do some marketing, some calls, some postcards, some letters? You can say, oh, I got an extra hour after Miss So-and-so today. I wonder what more I could do to her or with her to make more money, make her happier, get more services done. Maybe I can make a call and fit somebody in during that time. I just think if you come in a little early, you can look at the day, or if you do it the day before, look at your next day and just plan it better, organize it better. Maybe you got 3 hours before your last client. You call your last client, maybe they come 3 hours earlier, and then you do something else or fill that time in. I think we should wrap it up. We could both talk forever about this stuff.
That is a wrap. Once again, Misha S., congratulations on winning the time with Shayna. Comments, as far as comments go, we started a Starbucks versus Dunkin' war over here. So team Starbucks, team Dunkin'.
Yeah, let me know in the comments.
Yeah,
what
comment
are you?
that. And out of those habits that we talked about, which one of those do you guys use, and which one of those do you guys think is the most valuable, if not all of them? All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Or do you have a better habit?
Or do you have a better habit?